Hey, how's it going, everybody? Collin here with CH Sports, bringing you guys some commentary to the 2020 NADGT Year event at Morning's Hideout. Doing commentary with me is Mr. Zac Todd. How's it going, Zach?
Hey, how you doing? It's good to be here.
The way that we had to film this hole, there's not really a good way to step back behind the tee pad, so we're filming it from in front of the tee pad. Here's Buckshot.
It's a pretty good shot there. Not too far. It looks like he's just a little outside the circle, about 40 feet. Has a pretty good look at the pin there. And we're playing the short pins here too, which is a little bit easier. It can be on this course. But this course is not easy in any means possible.
Yeah, especially with these baskets that we're playing to. A lot of the baskets are going to struggle to catch some of the faster putts for sure. And here is the He-Man himself, Mr. Zac Todd. What are you ripping on here, bud?
Got my blue outfit on there. When I showed up for the day, I didn't realize I actually had all blue on. I was like, you know what? I'll just roll with it.
And I take it you're ripping on a suspect there.
Yeah, I got a lucid X suspect there. I tried to do a little turnover shot in the gap, but it didn't work out very well. Hit an early tree.
Yeah, still got down there for a putt, though. Here's Jesus Cruz. Super smooth player. Awesome to play with.
Fantastic attitude.
Looks like he hit a late tree. He's going to stay in the middle of the fairway, though.
Yeah, he'll be able to pitch up for a par.
And hopefully here I am. I'm used to being behind the camera, but today I'm going to be in front of the camera.
And looking good doing so. Great form there. Great follow through.
And believe it or not, my shot was actually probably looking the best until it hit a late tree. And I kicked to the left side of the fairway there. So here's Jesus trying to get up and down for par.
In a pretty tough position on that hill, too. You can see his footing is just so slanted, and he has all this brush to deal with. You got a good kick out there into the fairway for a nice little forehand up.
Yep, couldn't quite see the end of it there, but I did end up pretty close for a par putt. Here's Rob with his P Model S that he was ripping on most of the day. Buck will hit some cabbage there on his birdie putt. And now we step up to yours. You got probably the most legit look at birdie here.
I'm trying to make a solid run at it, and I thought I had it out of my hands. But
we all thought you did, bud. We all thought you did.
That was a good job by Jesus to clean up that par from where he was at off the tee.
For sure, yeah. I definitely noticed that with this course is even if you get kicked down into the center of the fairway, a lot of times you're contending with branches and all these ferns in the way and stuff. So even what's considered an easy up and down isn't quite so easy here.
Right. And you got to be careful on these baskets, too. You can see you have the good basket behind there, the 24 chains, but here you have these homemade baskets that have a tire rim in it, and so these putts can just look like they have a perfect putt, and then they go in and they bounce right out, and all of a sudden what you thought was an easy par, or a birdie, another putt there.
Yeah, for sure. They're awesome to look at, though.
Aren't they? It's a good job by the whole group just to clean up the pars. No one was in the circle off the tee box. So going into the hole 2 here, we are going to have a gap through 2 trees. It looks like a field goal gap. You can either do a big forehand at it, or I'm thinking of the long position, I'm sorry, or this one's just straight ahead. So a lot of people like to take the backhand and play right into the hillside, as you can see Buck is doing right through the trees. And you can really push an ace run here.
Little high, you're right.
He had a good line there, but you can hear us saying a little high hit the tree branches.
Yeah, and it was super awesome to get to play with Rob and Buck on this day because typically in the MA1 division, we don't get to play with Rob and Buck since they're both MA40 players. And here's Zach. I'm assuming the same suspect he threw on hole 1.
I'm not going to change up that shot. I love that suspect so much. I thought it was in the hole.
Yeah, we were all calling for it in the bucket, just over the top. Great shot, bud.
Thank you, brother.
And here's Jesus. Definitely a typical Jesus hole. Nice smooth backhand.
Yep. Does a little turnover shot at it. Plays it a little bit right, but he'll still have a look from there. About 40, 45 feet.
Yep, and I'm stepping up with my low MD3. Shout out to Justin Anderson for hooking me up with that one.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous shot, gorgeous form. Nice control to not push it too far past the basket. Keep it on the smooth surface. Have a good birdie look at it. Here's Jesus up, sitting a little bit further out, maybe 50 feet. Looks like it slipped out of his hands and went up into the brush, and it's going to make for a little tough par putt coming back down that hill through some ferns. Woo!
Buck able to give it a good bid. Almost had a Buck yeah chant there.
We'll hopefully have a few of those this round.
Sure. Here's Rob. He's got one tree to miss, and he does hit it, unfortunately. So he's going to be left with probably about 35 feet for par. Here's my putt. What I thought was going to be an awesome shot and just an easy birdie here. Turns out I have a 25-footer with absolutely no putt.
Yeah, that tree really got in your way. It's in between you and the basket.
Yeah, so I'm trying this spike hyzer putt with my most overstable disc in my bag. Still can't get it to move left enough. Yeah. But easy par, and we'll move on.
And pars are pretty good at this course.
For sure, yeah. I feel like it's the battle of the least bogeys out here, for sure.
Okay. Rob coming up a little short there. Oh, Jesus off the left side of the chains for his par putt. He's going to take a bogey. Buck cleaning up the par.
And Zach with the rare ace run park job.
It's always nice when you are the third or fourth person putting out, and it's for your birdie.
Mm-hmm. And so you're able to grab the first birdie of the day. Rob will take the unfortunate bogey. I'm looking for my disc here, and Jesus points it out for me. With these ferns in the way, it's hard to find your plastic sometimes. Easy par putt, and then Jesus also going to take the unfortunate bogey there. So we got Zach with a birdie, and Jesus and Rob with unfortunate bogeys there, and then me and Buck able to clean up our par putts. And we're moving into hole 3. Hole 3 is a 255-foot par 3. There's kind of two options here. You'll either have the 100 mid-range turnover up the middle, the big high hyzer gap, or if you're this guy, try and rip your shoulder out of socket with this play.
Just found a more consistent line up and over, and you can really control it. It can be so easy to push a disc past too far on this, and you just glide a little bit downhill, and then all of a sudden you're looking at a par, hopefully, and bogey at best. That was Buck in an early tree, and then here you are, stepping up on the pad. Looks like you're lining up the straight at it, slight turnover shot.
Yeah, I'm going with my AGL Madrone. It's beat in to be pretty straight at this point. I hit some late cabbage, which made it stall out in hyzer a little sooner than I wanted, but I'll still be left with a putt. And it looks like Rob's going to try my play as well. And starts out on a really good angle. Oh, and it just hits that tree right in the middle of the fairway.
Yeah, it's a tight gap initially. This video or this footage right here doesn't show how tight that gap can really be at the angle of the tee pad. And Jesus just hitting an early tree, and then you can see the teeth that this hole has with hitting an early tree.
Yeah, just like you're saying, the teeth on this hole. hit that first tree and then hit the first tree on the approach shot as well. And now he's scrambling for bogey here.
Yeah, looking about 150 feet still away, trying to get uphill, and you can see he hit those trees and he came down and he still has work to do.
Rob trying to make the decision if he's going to run this 70-footer or not. Floats it up there. Safe go.
That's a good half bid, trying to make it fall in the bucket. A lot of rollaways on this course. You can see that there are hills everywhere. And if you're just a little bit off, here's Jesus. Oh, that's a great bid. That's a nice job to get up there. If you're just a little bit off, you're going to be rolling away.
Yeah, and my insane self with an absolute death putt, I'm going to go ahead and run it.
It was a fantastic bid. It was right there, just a little bit long. And
yourself with a good run, hidden basket again. And it looked like he stayed pretty close at least.
Look, and he sails a little bit high over, but he'll get his par. Clean it up. You're a little uphill here.
Yeah, so this is what you're left with when you run a downhill death putt. You got 25-foot testers coming back up the hill.
Which in these baskets, again, you just never want to encounter. Great putt there. Way to keep it low. Nose angle perfect. Great putt.
Yeah, that was a good, confident release there for sure. That's one of those that can get your round going for you.
Here's Buck's cleanup for his par. Boom. A little high. And that's when you get a little scared, when it's a little high on these baskets and then it drops into those rims.
For sure. Sure. On these baskets, I almost feel like I'm like intentionally slowing down my putt and trying to aim like 2 or 3 lengths lower than I normally do, just because they accept the low putts instead of the high putts. But
yeah,
they're making sure that one's in there.
It's all about the follow through, no matter how far out you are. All right, that was hole 3. Jesus taking the unfortunate double bogey. The rest of the card taking all pars, and we're heading into hole 4 here. You have an uphill shot, 265, but it really feels like it's about 300 feet. And you're going to go through some tight woods here, and hopefully you can see the lines a little bit right. Well, you can't really see it, but you're trying to hit a hyzer shot right and back down into the hill.
And you hit the line there. You just pushed it a little bit too far.
Yeah, I threw my gator there. I didn't really expect it to go that far. Here's Buck with the same line, but a better choice in disc. I think that was EMAC, if I'm correct.
Yeah, and I'm going for my Night Strike 2 here. Just trying to get it high and stalled out, and it just didn't start getting left early enough. And I'm going to be back by where you're at.
Yeah, a little bit closer to the basket, I think. You had great job with the height there.
Yeah, I just wanted to start it on a little bit more angle. Rob has a great shot up there. And we're in there to like 15 feet. Great shot from Rob there.
Fantastic control. And he's playing this course, this hole's blind too. So he wasn't even sure what to throw there, and he just kind of watched us throw and then ended up getting the closest. Jesus hitting a tree when its disc was looking so good. Birdie look. Oh, just short. Hits the number. There I am. Yeah, a little straddle putt. Didn't really have much of a look there.
And here's Buck for 2. And we get a Buck, yeah.
Always put your smile on your face when he says that.
Yeah. Up until this point, I had never played with Buck. And
Great
I'm a little left
there.
side, but it's in there. Up until this point, I had never played with Buck, but it was super awesome to get to play with him. And I've heard his chants on the course before, but yeah, this is the first time I got to witness it firsthand.
Here's Robert, his birdie. Yeah, Buck, I mean, you can hear him just yell, Buck, yeah!
From all over the course,
right?
man.
It's fantastic. Yeah. Oh, love playing with him. All the guys on this card, just such great attitudes. Very fun to play with.
Yeah, this was definitely one of the better cards I've gotten to play with for sure. I mean, me and you have been playing together for a little while now, and I think this was my first tournament round with Jesus actually. But I've played a bunch of casual rounds with him. He's a great player out of Kaiser, and that's after hole 4. I took the birdie there as well as Buck and Rob and Zach and Jesus cleaning up their pars. Stepping down to hole 5. It says 210 feet, but just like all these other holes, it'll play something slightly different just because of the elevation. We're going downhill on this hole. There's kind of 2 plays. What you don't want to do is this, get something turned over and gliding. And now Buck's going to have a tough up and down from down at the bottom of the hill. I'm throwing my tactic here, hoping to just get it down to the ground as quick as possible.
Yeah, you definitely want to throw something stable and that can hyzer down quickly. That will kind of want to do a little bomb down because, as you said, pushing too far is going to get you in trouble. It looks like you kind of landed right by the pin, probably within like 25 feet.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with that release for sure. And Rob's going to be a little bit sawed off. Getting up and down for par is going to be pretty tough from there.
I'm just throwing my puddle top globe gator up high, and that's a lucky roll. I didn't know that happened.
Got it down there to a putt for you. And Jesus probably going with some kind of overstable mid-range here.
Gives it some great height. Nice control. Nice touch. Puts it within 15 feet. Nice shot there.
Here's Buck from the bottom of Grand Canyon trying to get up and down.
Oh, and he does a great job putting it right by the basket. Oh, it can be so scary. Again, hit a tree and then boom, he's coming right back down, watching that disc roll right past where he's standing.
Oh, Rob right over the top. That was a good run. And now, Zach, you got, what, probably 35 feet here?
Yeah, just outside the circle. Yeah, didn't even have a chance. Oh, nice.
Again, I'm low left, but it's in there.
It's in there. The one nice thing about these baskets is that there's a lot of rust on those outside chains. But just like that, right there, when you get an outside putt on the outside chains, it sometimes catches it really nicely because of the rust and puts it right in the basket.
Yeah, I got pretty lucky on a couple of those putts back to back to be low left, but hey, I'm not going to complain. Here's Jesus tapping in his birdie.
Great job. Buck about to save his par. Again, you just got to be careful. There you go. Control your speed on these. Keep it low. Buck, yeah.
Buck putting on a show for all of his adoring fans, as usual.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go. Hole 5. We had Collin and yourself and Jesus taking the birdies. Myself, Buck, and Rob took a par. As we head into the next hole, it's an extremely uphill hole. I mean, it's at 280 feet in the elevation. You have to push this thing on such a high, extreme hyzer angle. You're throwing about a 300-foot hyzer here through a very narrow gap. And if you hit an early tree, you are in trouble. It's a good job pushing up to the hill. That's what you want at the least, is to push up to the flat land up there where you can save an easy par. Getting a birdie on this is a big bonus.
Yeah, for sure. Jesus almost hits the line there, hits the tree on the inside of the gap.
And Buck a little left, pushes towards the basket, and that's an early tree kick that you don't want to be in over to the right.
Yeah, for sure. Anything that gets to the top of this hill, I'm usually pretty happy with. You go through the same tiny little gap I went through and actually get up there for a putt.
Yeah, I don't think anyone actually hit their line on that drive.
Nah, Jesus is probably the closest to it, and look what he's left with here.
Right.
Big, huge turnover with a putter. And he actually got it up there for a putt. That was a pretty good shot.
That was a great shot.
He was at.
And that's Rob's third shot right there. He just had a little pitch out, as you could see on the shot before for him. He had nothing going. Here's your upshot.
Yeah, it's actually way trickier than it looks like on camera because I'm putting into an extreme right to left slope, as you can see now. And a great run from Zac. Again, all over the basket, man. Jeez Louise.
Hitting metal,
Woo!
I feel like not an issue there. Nice job by Jesus.
Yeah, that was a great up and
Great
down
up
from
and down.
Jesus.
Oh, and that was almost a bad down and up.
Uh, and Zach's slipping now. Everybody's slipping and sliding here.
That's those are the hills. Those are the hills around here. Yeah, you really can't see the slope right behind the basket, but it slopes off pretty hard right behind that basket.
Yeah, I was definitely pretty nervous about that upshot. You push it, 3 feet longer than what I did, and I'm soaring down to the bottom of the hill. After hole 6, Rob takes the bogey there. Actually, pretty decent up and down to get his bogey in the first place. Stepping up to hole 7. Again, another big elevation change. It says 285 feet, but plays closer to probably 310-ish. There's kind of two plays here. You can either go for what I'm going for here, the big, high, stall forehand. And I just yank mine a little bit to the left. Or what you'll see from a couple of the guys here is the big backhand turnover, like Jesus will show you here. The problem with this shot is it's hard to get it turning right enough. And I feel like every time I play this hole, I'm trying to intentionally saw something off because every time I get up there, I'm like 40 feet left after throwing what I thought was a perfect shot. Like Buck here is probably still 50 or 60 left of the pin.
Yeah, turning that backhand turnover is a pretty sensitive shot. If you do have the forehand, at least a 300-foot forehand or so, you're going to be able to get up there just okay. I was able to get up there backside. I wasn't trying to push the pin on this. Rob's going with the thumber look, which actually is not a bad play to be safe on this.
And this actually is like probably one of the harder shots that I've had up into this point in the round. I'm intentionally sawing off a tactic to make sure I'm getting right enough. And we didn't see where that finishes up, but you'll see it here in a second. It was probably one of my best shots of the day.
And there's Jesus. If you're not in position within 25, 30 feet on this, and you're staring directly at this, as you can see, everyone's laying up, layup, layup, layup. Right behind that pin is dead drop. Nice job.
Yeah, that was pretty crucial to my round to keep it going. Be able to get up and down from there. That was one of my better par saves for sure.
Yeah, that was fantastic, controlling that tactic. Nice job by Rob. That was a great job.
And everybody else just going to tap in here. You can tell everybody's kind of taking their time on these baskets, making sure they hit the exact chain length they're looking at. And here's Jesus. And we missed Jesus' third shot, so that'll actually be his bogey putt there.
Yeah, that's right. Which is, bogeys are not the worst thing out here as long as you're not taking too many of them. You can make up for them with your birdies. That was hole 7. Jesus is the only person to take a bogey there. Everyone else was happily able to card a par. Moving to hole 8, which we call the top of the world shot. And this shot is a very fun and nerve-wracking shot because you are trying to do either backhand or forehand at an angle that you are pushing downhill. If you have a slightly flat nose angle, you could push 200 feet past the basket easily. So you can see all these tree lines. You have a gap to the left, which you took on the forehand, or you have this gap right here that Buck is taking on the backhand, and you got to keep it low. And hopefully you die right next to the basket, which again is on a hill.
Yeah, for me, the shot's kind of touchy because you want to throw something straight because both of the gaps are pretty straight, but you also don't want to throw something that's going to glide too much. So it's kind of a weird spot in your bag, something that's going to go straight but also get out of the air.
Yeah, and there's Here's Rob here. This is turning over too much, and it is going to end up being right a good ways, and it's going to be difficult to scramble for par over there. We'll see what he can do. Here's Jesus.
It's that first tree at the start of the gap, and now he's going to have a lot of work to get up and down. And you can kind of see the end of the flight there. He was able to get down there clean, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. He had to saw off his arm there trying to push through those trees. There's Buck.
Remote control.
It was on a really good line, but just a little bit too high, and he's going to soar down to the bottom of the hill. I'm just trying to get up and down for par here.
Yeah, it's again so easy to soar down the bottom of the hill because this pin is right in the middle of the downhill slope.
And it stinks we didn't get your run there.
Yeah. It was hard to catch on camera there, but I had like a 90-foot look straight downhill through some trees, and I ran it, and I hit the top of the basket. Almost. Yeah. It was a great job by Buck there, trying to give another run, save his par.
And that is exactly why you take your time on all your putts, ladies and gentlemen. I walked up there, and I was like, yep, nice little easy 12-footer, tap it in there. Didn't take my time, and I hit the top of the basket. I look pretty disgusted there with that effort. And this is where Jesus got to from that thumber.
That is an incredible job. Yeah. What an epic par save. Absolutely fantastic.
Like, he would have been better off to try and, like, re-tee probably from where he was at. And he somehow gets up and down from there. That was an insane scramble.
You could see him looking back up like, huh? I didn't even see where I was back up there.
Yeah, it's funny because me and you, we're both taking bogeys here. And Buck's also taking a bogey. And we had pretty easy, like, pitch up for pars. And he's got a 300-foot thumber. It's up and down for par. It's insane. Stepping up to hole 9. This is probably, I would say, almost a Mando forehand hole. You're going to see a couple of these guys try backhand because they don't have a forehand. But you'll see here in a second, this thing turns right the whole way. And when you're throwing the backhand, you got to get so close to that edge of the gap and then have something turning right. And when when Jesus steps up to a hole and he decides to throw a forehand, you know it's definitely a forehand hole for sure.
Right, absolutely.
He doesn't throw any forehands at all.
And he did a great job with that forehand there, hugging the tree, which is exactly what you need to do.
And I'm stepping up with my AGL Cedar, super overstable 11 speed. And I put it inside the circle.
That was a great job. Yeah, it's hard to. It's a sensitive shot because it's easy to go far, and you have to hug it so hard. And here's Buck showing how hard it is with the backhand. You just couldn't turn it over enough, and just pushed it too far straight. And here I am with the Lucid X Felon.
And that was definitely the best shot out of the bunch, but hits the last tree at the edge of the gap. You'll still have probably, 40 feet for birdie?
Yeah, a little bit outside the circle, absolutely. Well, all these branches everywhere. It's hard sometimes to get through it and easy to hit some blind branches that you didn't see. And there's Buck down there. That was his drive. Just blew past the hole, but it's all right. He's trying to get up for his par.
Man, here's Rob getting into some trouble on this hole. That was his 4th shot. Wisely laying up for double. And Zac right in the heart from 40. Didn't need to jump. Walking it in there. Let's go ahead and see a replay of that one.
First replay of the round, I'll take it.
Boom, right in the heart.
Felt good out of the hand. I appreciate it. Felt good out of the hand.
And
there you are.
Pace.
That is a fantastic drive.
Yeah, this one, and again, low left in there, but I'll take it. Yeah, this one's pretty hard to access, and I definitely look at it as a bonus birdie. And when I get it, I feel pretty good about it for sure. So we're wrapping up the front 9 here. Buck taps in for his par. Rob's going to step up and tap in his 5.
There's Buck with a little wink at the camera.
Yeah, always doing stuff for the fans, man. Always doing stuff for the fans.
Oh, man. It
That
gets
guy's an
me laughing.
entertainer
I
for
love
sure.
it.
And Jesus going to be able to tap in his par. And there you have it. There's our scores through the front 9. Zac able to shoot 1 down with that birdie on hole 9. I get to 2 down with the birdie. Rob taking a double there. That'll push him back to +3 with Jesus at +3. And Buck going to be at even, no damage done. Thank you guys for tuning into this front 9. Stay tuned for the back.
Thank you all. We'll see you soon.
That wasn't too bad.
Definitely nerve-wracking.
Yeah, the first couple holes for sure were kind of weird, but we got it all figured out. I think we flowed together pretty okay for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let's see here. Let me